Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 312 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. It's awesome to be with you guys today. Welcome if you're new to the podcast, and welcome back if you've been hanging out with me for a while. I'm always glad to be with you. I wonder if you guys do something that I do. Do you ever create an entire scenario in your head about something or someone that your brain convinces you is true, only to find out that you were very wrong? We create things from our point of reference all the time. In every situation, we bring meaning to what's happening. I'll give you an example. If I told you to think of a leaf, you would all picture a leaf. Now, if you lived in the South, you might think of a magnolia leaf. If you lived in California, you might think of a palm leaf. Both of you would be perfectly correct. Same question, totally different answer, but both correct. Your brain uses your point of reference to come up to an idea of a leaf. That's what we do with everything. We use our point of reference to attach meaning to anything going on around us. Now, we bring meaning to things based on what's going on in our world. If I asked 5 people to describe a leaf, I would get 5 totally different answers, even if 2 of those people were from the South. One might not have a magnolia tree in their yard like I do, so that's not their immediate point of reference. They might only have oak trees, so they think of an oak leaf. The point is that we attach meaning to things based on what we know or what we've experienced, usually most recently. Things that we think are amazing, other people might find horrifying. Fireworks, for example. There are a lot of people in America that love the 4th of July. All of the beautiful fireworks and the excitement of the boom that comes with the biggest ones. That might bring up some really fond memories for a lot of us. I know it does for me. But for someone else, 4th of July is really hard to get through. For them, the first sound of a firework and they hit the ground and curl up in a ball. We had a family friend growing up who was in Vietnam. He was in the middle of the worst of war. Whenever he would hear a loud bang, like a car backfiring or loud fireworks, he would literally hit the ground like he was sheltering himself from attack. His experience in life told him that big bangs were really, really bad. You see, we're shaped by our life experience. We make decisions based on our life experiences. We make things mean whatever our life experience tells us it means. In fact, it's so wired into our brain, we even see things as we want to see them. That's what they mean when they say we create our own reality. We literally do. A story I've told before, but it made such a big impact on the way that I think that I'll keep using it because it's such a good example of this. So back when COVID was at its frenzy and the vaccine was being rolled out, and there was a lot of debate about it, Jarek Robbins, who's Tony Robbins' son, posted on his story that he supported mandatory vaccinations, to which he got immediate and huge backlash. And then, as you scrolled, his next story said, go back and read my story, my previous story again. And so I was like, okay, something's up. And after a few tries, I realized that what he actually wrote was, I support mandatory vacations. It took me like 3 times to realize that that was what he said. Not mandatory vaccinations, mandatory vacations. I read and I saw without a doubt the word vaccination because that's what we were all talking about. That's what social media was talking about. The media, the government, everybody was talking about it. So it was top of mind. And I was ready to pounce on it. Not a proud moment, but one that I can say I'm happy happened because I learned a very valuable lesson from it. Because I think I'm pretty astute at the difference between reality and my perception of reality, when all along they're basically the same. My perception actually is my reality. What we think about most, what we read about, what we watch, what we talk to our friends about, these are the things that shape our perception. None of us have the same reality. That's why communication has to be so clear. I mean, what you say to your friend or your partner or your mom even may have completely different meaning to them. They're more than likely not thinking the same thing they're thinking. even with something as simple as a leaf. So imagine that a complex situation, that's way worse. You're making it mean something from your point of reference, and they're going to do the same. And we do tend to think everyone thinks like we do. So of course, if someone says, think of a leaf, we think, well, it's probably going to be green of some sort. Maybe, but maybe not. If you want to really understand, it really is helpful just to ask, how are you thinking about that leaf? Is it yellow? Is it red? Is it green? Is it big? Is it small? What type is it? There's so many options, and that's just the example of a leaf. Imagine the more complex things like life and relationships. And technology really gets us in trouble in this, more than we probably even know. Think about all the ways someone could read into a text because they don't get your body language. They don't get your tone of voice. So let's say you send a text that just simply says, okay. There's so many different things that I could make that mean just right off of the top of my head that I could think of. I mean, it could mean whatever. It could mean suit yourself. It could literally mean no problem, that's fine. It could even mean let me think about it. Unless you get clarification, you don't know. Let's say someone doesn't even respond to a text you send. What could that mean? Again, so many things. I mean, it could mean they never got the text. Could mean their phone is dead. It could mean I need to think about that. I'll answer it later, and then they forgot. It could even mean I refuse to even dignify that text with a response. You don't know, but I bet it's happened, and I bet you've created lots of meanings when it did, only to find out they simply wrote the response and forgot to send it. I've done that. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is communication and clarification. The answer is never assume anything. The answer is to start thinking of positive reasons instead of negative reasons. When you start to create the thing up in your head, create something that has you feeling good rather than feeling bad. I mean, you're making it up anyway, right? So why not make up something good? Let's say they didn't return your text. They will once they see it. That could be your story. They'll respond when they see it. Or you could laugh it off and say, I bet they typed it and forgot to hit send. I've done that more than once. We're so programmed to think the worst, and that's why it comes so naturally. That's the easy thing to do. The hard thing to do is think the best, to think of good things that could come from it. I was talking to a friend about going to the chiropractor for the first time for her back pain. She had only heard weird stories about chiropractors, and she was a little scared of that option. She said, well, what if it doesn't work? And I looked at her and I said, what if it does? Which woke her up a bit. She hadn't really thought about it from that point of view. And she said, you know what? You're right. That's true. What if it does? Her point of reference was to dismiss chiropractors because of some story she heard 25 years ago. See, our lived experiences, what we listen to and read, and who we hang out with, all shape our responses to anything we do. My challenge to you this week is to notice the thoughts you have in your head when you have a conversation with someone. Or maybe someone doesn't respond immediately or ever to a text. Or maybe they simply respond by saying, okay. Notice if your go-to is to think something's wrong or to wonder if they're mad at you. Do you automatically create something in your head that makes you feel bad? That's the knee-jerk response. That's the primitive brain jumping to conclusions. What we have to do is call in the intelligent brain by doing the hard thing and intentionally thinking about it. Flip it around. Maybe you say, oh, they said okay. That's awesome. It's perfect. Or if they don't respond, neutralize it and let go by saying they'll respond when they see it. And if someone says something that you just don't understand, simply ask for clarification. There's no harm in saying, is this what you mean when you say that? There's nothing wrong with asking. And look, I'm doing this right alongside you because this is something I work on every day. So share this episode with 3 people today. It's part of the work of living a wildly successful lifestyle. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.